If you live in Zone 5, you know the gardening season feels like it ends just after it begins. You wait all winter for spring, start planting, and before you know it, frost is back. It's frustrating, but what if you didn't have to rush? What if you could grow more food for more months, right where you are, without needing a greenhouse or moving to a warmer place? A lot of people believe they're stuck with a short growing season. But in truth, there are easy, low-cost ways to add several weeks, even months to your gardening year. The secret isn't in fancy tools or expensive gear. It's in knowing how to work with your climate instead of against it. Let's start with the biggest problem time. In Zone 5, the space between your last spring frost and your first fall frost is narrow. One cold snap in May or September can do real damage. And even in the warmest part of the season, the weather is unpredictable. It can be warm and sunny one day, then drop close to freezing the next. That's why smart gardeners don't wait for perfect conditions. They create them. The easiest way to start is by growing seeds indoors. It might seem simple, but it's one of the best ways to stay ahead. Instead of waiting for the soil to warm up, you start your plants early in a safe, warm place. You don't need a big setup. Just a few trays, some seed starting mix, and a sunny window or light. Tomatoes, peppers, lettuce, broccoli, all of these can be started inside. When the frost risk passes, you'll have strong plants ready to go in the ground. Next up, row covers and low tunnels. These might look basic, but they're powerful. They work like mini shelters for your plants. A row cover is just a sheet of light fabric laid over your crops. A low tunnel is a frame with plastic or cloth draped over it. Both trap warmth, shield plants from wind, and protect them from light frost. That means you can plant earlier in the spring and keep things growing later into the fall. You don't have to cover the whole garden either. Just a few rows or one bed is enough to give you a head start. And when the season starts winding down, these covers can buy you more time, maybe even an extra harvest. Now let's talk about something that gets ignored a lot, what you choose to grow. In short seasons, picking fast-growing varieties is key. Every seed packet shows how many days a plant takes to mature. In Zone 5, those numbers matter. Shorter times mean more food before the cold returns. For example, pick cherry tomatoes instead of large ones. Go for baby carrots rather than full-size types. Try bush beans instead of climbing ones. These smaller, quicker crops still give you great results, just sooner. And that extra time can mean everything when the nights start cooling down. Another helpful tip is using raised beds. These beds warm up faster than in ground soil in spring, and they drain water better. After a long winter, your yard might be soggy, but raised beds dry out and heat up sooner. That means you can plant earlier, sometimes weeks earlier. You also get to control the soil.
Want an extra trick?
Paint the sides of the bed dark black or deep green, and they'll hold even more warmth from the sun. Let's not forget about your own yard. Every outdoor space has its warm and cold spots, and most people don't even realize it. These are called microspots, and they can make a big difference. Look for sunny walls, corners that stay warm, or areas protected from wind. You can use these areas to grow heat-loving plants or to start earlier than usual. Even moving a plant just a few feet to a better spot can change the outcome. Want to go further? Cold frames and hoop shelters are a great next step. A cold frame is just a clear top over a short bed. You can make one with an old window and some scrap wood. They're simple but hold in heat and keep out cold air. A hoop shelter is a bit bigger, made with bent pipes and plastic. You can walk into them and they cover more space. Both setups let you plant earlier in the spring and keep growing later in the year. Greens like lettuce, kale, spinach, and radishes love these spaces. You can even start hardening off young plants inside them before they go into the open garden. Some people also grow food indoors during winter. With a small light and a shelf, you can grow herbs, lettuce, or even strawberries inside. It's not about turning your home into a jungle. It's about keeping the habit going when it's cold outside. And there's something very satisfying about harvesting your own greens in the middle of January. Of course, it's not just about what you do, it's also about what you don't do. Many gardeners try to start seeds too early before there's enough light and the plants become tall and weak. Some forget to lift their row covers on sunny days, and the plants overheat. Others guess their frost dates instead of checking them, and a surprise freeze wipes everything out. And then there's the temptation to buy more stuff. A lot of new gardeners think gear will fix everything, but that's rarely true. You don't need high-tech tools. You need a plan. A good plan with smart timing will always work better than fancy equipment. It's also important to keep track of what works. Keep a small notebook or take pictures. Write down when you planted, what grew well, and what didn't. Over time, you'll learn what your yard really needs. Maybe it turns out your soil stays cool longer than most, or your garden gets shade earlier than expected. The more you observe, the better choices you'll make. One of the most powerful things you can do is stretch both ends of the season, the start and the end. If you start seeds early and protect your fall crops, you could turn a 4-month growing season into 6 months or more. That's more tomatoes, more greens, more food for your kitchen, and fewer days spent worrying if the frost will ruin everything. Let's be honest, gardening in Zone 5 isn't always easy.
The weather plays games.
The frost comes too soon. But once you learn how to take control, it becomes less about chance and more about skill. And that's a great feeling. In the end, this isn't just about growing more. It's about having more freedom. Freedom from the rush. Freedom from the stress of unpredictable cold snaps. It's about enjoying your time in the garden more, with less pressure and more success. So if you've been feeling like your growing season is too short, don't worry. You don't need to move. You don't need to spend big. You just need to adjust a few things. Try 1 or 2 of these tips this year and you'll see a difference. Try a few more next year and you might be surprised at how far you can take it. You're not stuck. You're just getting started, and your best season yet could be right in front of you.